Hi, my name's Ray and I'm half of Torkard Cider, and we call ourselves the Hucknall Cider Company. Torkard has nothing at all to do with talking hard, but everything to do with the fact that this area was originally called Hucknall Torkard up until 1916, when the Torkard part of the name for the town was dropped. The ancient name for this area is actually Oakenhall Torkard, Torkard being the name of the family who ran and owned this land following the Norman conquest and the Norman invasion after 1066. Our aim is to make a cider which is a truly Nottinghamshire cider, so we try to use local fruit, and we grow our own bitter sweets and bitter sharps in the garden, as well as on a piece of land that we're currently developing to turn into an orchard. We try not to import fruit from outside of Nottinghamshire, but do collect fruit from all over the county and to then use it in our blends. We start collecting fruit in September when some of the early ripening varieties are available, usually Old English varieties actually, and then we mix them in with our own fruit and fruit we collect from orchards, allotments and gardens around the area. The fruit is checked over to make sure that it's sound before it's brought back here for washing and preparing. Any mouldy or bad parts of the apple are cut away, or the whole fruit is discarded. Bruising doesn't really matter, but anything that's mouldy or anything like that is a real no-no. The fruit is picked over, sorted and washed, and in this photograph you can see a load of our fruit ready, and there's a mix in here of local eating apples, a few culinary, and also quite a few of our own bitter sharps and bitter sweets. As well as using fruit from orchards and allotments, we also go out of our way to search out other fruit which may be grown in somebody's back garden, or in this case it may be something that's growing in a hedgerow at the side of the road. And these russet apples with a very rough skin I came across on just a meander through Nottinghamshire down some lanes. I won't tell you where. They are very, very tasty apples, a lovely white fresh and an excellent blend between acidity and sweetness. These apples I also found in a hedgerow. They're quite large and don't particularly look like crabs, but they're perhaps closer to a crab than anything. They're quite sharp, but also have a certain amount of tannin in their flesh. They're pleasant to eat if you like a good sharp apple, but I wouldn't want to eat many of them. But inside a cider they will add some body and some acid as well as more flavour. These apples just go to show that all that glitters is not gold. They look absolutely delicious with their red skins and yellow stripes, but in fact they're totally bland. They're a wilding that again found in the hedgerow at the side of the road, a big tree full of apples that I had to battle my way to, and I was really disappointed to find that apart from a little bit of sweetness and lots of juice, they'd got very little acidity and no discerning flavour. A real disappointment, a really boring apple. Once the fruit's been roughly washed and picked over, what we do then is put it into a white bath. This is actually a brand new bath that we got through FreeCycle. It was totally free. So this plastic bath, when I went to pick it up, was still wrapped in plastic and completely sealed. All that was wrong with it was a slight chip in the bottom, which I sealed up with some fresh resin. The apples are put into here, and then it's filled with water, and they're left to soak a bit before giving a good wash round. Here's the apples in the process of being washed, and you can see the water level there. The only thing I really needed to buy to make this bath a suitable piece of kit for what we needed was to add the actual drainage fitting, so somewhere for the plug of course, and also for the overflow, because we didn't want to flood the garden. And all we do is let it drain down into the garden, into a soakaway or onto a drain, depending where we've fitted it. Because it's a plastic bath, it's very light and easy to move around. And the apples stay in until we're certain they're really clean. We give them a good stir, we get our hands in and keep checking them over. When we're satisfied that the apples are clean, we drain them and transfer them down to take them to be milled. We've started off by using a plastic colander, but as you can see, we can't get many apples in there at a time, so we needed to look for an alternative. And here it is. I was shopping in Tesco, actually wandering around with Gail, and I saw these clothes baskets, and I thought, that would be really useful for draining the apples. And they were only £1.49 each in their value range, so I bought 4, drilled holes in the bottom, and they're now excellent to tip the apples in, so they drain really well. The extra holes drilled in the bottom allow all the water virtually to escape, so we transfer very little water into the actual pressing. The drained fruit is transferred into these large tubs. This rubbery flexible plastic means that they are very tough. They're used for mixing all sorts of materials in, like plaster and concrete, so that gives you a clue. The best place to buy them are from builders' supplies. Don't buy them from garden centres where they're very expensive, usually because they come in nice bright colours, but they're good, tough, useful items. We carry the tubs of fruit down to the covered area where Gail carries out most of the milling. We put the fruit onto a workmate so she can have a last quick pick over and check that everything's fine and wholesome before it actually goes into the mill to make the cider. And here she is filling the shark fruit mill. The shark is a very useful piece of kit which we imported directly from Czechoslovakia, although now you can get them directly in this country. In the background you can see a trailer full of apples which are still to be taken up to be washed and prepared and checked over. The mill works very quickly, and so we have to be careful that we don't get a bottleneck at this stage. All the apple pulp goes into the smallish black container with a red lid that's attached to the shark. The shark itself is the only high-tech, expensive piece of equipment really, I suppose, that we use. We used to have to smash up the fruit by hand, then we tried a food processor which was a nightmare, then we went on to a hand-powered scratter or mill which took ages and was really hard work, and we just thought, what the heck, we may as well invest in this superb little piece of kit. It's nice because it's stainless, it's totally waterproof, easy to clean, easy to take apart, and it gets through the apples very quickly. By the end of the day's milling or afternoon's milling, you can see here we've got 5 gallon or actually 30 litre tubs full of pulp, which is a good full day's pressing ahead. The shark has now been beheaded so we can get to the cutter and clean all the internal workings. We've actually had a bit of an overflow there, so the smaller container is there to take the last few bits of pulp that we can get out of the machine. So that was a brief look how we pick over, choose, select our fruit, some of the varieties that we use, the places that we get them from, and how we wash and prepare them and get them ready for milling. And for after milling, of course, the next step is pressing. So the next little talk I'm going to put together is how we actually press the fruit to extract the juice. Thank you.
I should die if I should lose you now. Button up your overcoat when the wind is free. Take good care of yourself, you belong to me. Eat an apple every day, get to bed by 3. Take good care of